Objections were raised, constitutional objections, statutory objections, moral objections, immoral objections, everything was raised. The first question is, who are this set of people who can dictate to the parliament, bypass the parliament, destroy the political system? What were you trying to do? We were not trying to draft a law and tell the parliament, you enact it. Because we found that there is no contribution from our elected representatives, we wanted a means by which we can approach the government and have a negotiation. You want to reject it, you reject it. You want to pass it, you pass it. Maybe we will send a tabular form thing to the people of India that this is what we suggested and this is what they wanted to do it. Or they did it also. Educate the people. In a democracy, don't we have that much of right to go to the government and say that I think this is my view about the thing? Unfortunately, even that was considered to be unconstitutional, undemocratic fight. They are not willing to look at their own act. If I understand the law-making system in India, I would expect my representative, when he comes to the constituency, to tell the people or a group of people that this is the bill the government is going to bring. What is that you would like to say about it? He need not accept my view, but he will have an idea of my view. I would expect him to go to the parliament and whatever the general consensus that has arrived will be put to the people, in the parliament. He neither does discuss here, nor does he discuss it in the parliament. Please, ladies and gentlemen, one day ask from the secretary of the respective houses of parliament how many times your parliament member has spoken. On 23rd of December 2008, 17 bills were passed in 12 minutes. Is this why our representatives were sent to the parliament? Can 17 bills be discussed in 12 minutes? The title have been read? I don't much care about the 16 bills, but one bill was, according to me, was camouflaged in this group of bills. That was a bill called Amendment to the Prevention of Corruption Act. Normally, all crimes are included in the Indian Penal Code, which is over 200 years old. When a crime goes out of hand and becomes difficult to handle, you make a special law. As you all know, when terrorism started in this country, terrorism is also an offense under the Indian Penal Code. We brought various other special laws. Tada, Mokaka, Kokaka. Mokaka means Maharashtra. Kokaka means Karnataka. Yes. This type of drastic laws were brought in. Getting the same feeling about corruption in 1947, the government of India at that point of time brought a law called Prevention of Corruption Act. From 47 to 2008, there was an amendment. Now it is called the Prevention of Corruption Act of 1998. Has corruption come down? Would any sane person would agree for denuding the Prevention of Corruption Act? But our parliament members did it. They tried to remove 3 sections from that which was helping the prosecuting agency. For one, I feel that at least one of the sections which was removed from there, most probably, was done deliberately to sabotage the 2G's case. This is the responsible members of the parliament who are our representatives there. If you talk about corruption, common man, he agrees with you. But the reaction that comes from the other side is different. Today, a totally new criminal jurisprudence has come into existence. If a scam is found and some party is, or person is accused of that being involved in the scam, the defense is not that he has not done it. I have not done it is not the defense. Have you not done it? 2G scam? NDA government didn't do it. In Karnataka, any scam, have you not done it? This shows the irresponsibility of elected representatives. How can you ever have a good governance in the atmosphere that it is being carried on? We can't afford to go far with this type of system. We have to talk about it. We have to discuss about it. That is why when in center there was no Lokpal as recommended by the first Administrative Reforms Commission in the year 1966. And every time a bill was introduced and withdrawn, and this time, for the 8th time this was done in 2010, a group of people joined together and said, no, we will now draft one and show to the people that that bill is a bogus bill. Ladies and gentlemen, that bill applies only to members of parliament, ministers and prime minister under certain circumstances. It doesn't apply to the government bureaucrats of the central government at all. And an inquiry can be conducted by 3 Lokpals who are supposed to be retired judges of the Supreme Court only if the Speaker or the Lok Sabha Deputy Chairman forwards it to the committee. I don't think in this system there will be at least 3 or 4 cases in a year before the Lokpals. And if they inquire into it, and they make a recommendation is guilty, it's again left to the Speaker and the Deputy Chairman to, as the case may be, to go forward or not to go forward. How can we ever live in a system of this nature when we know that there's so many scams day after day it's coming in out? I had an occasion to study the Goa Lokpal bill. I think whichever the government which drafted it, I really do not know which government has drafted it, has made a sincere effort, though there are shortcomings in that bill. This bill ought to have come sometime in 2006 when it was enacted by the legislature of the Goa. I don't know why it is still pending in the central government on the ground of some repugnancy between some sections of the Act. You need a Lokpal bill. Actually, this morning, in a meeting that we had, there were very many people who were expressing their views that Goa has become a corrupt state. They were even saying the most. I said, please don't go that far. You have competition in the neighboring state. In this background, I think you should bring about certain changes. I was told by somebody today that I believe you, after becoming a full state, don't even have an All India service cadre. All your IAS, IPS and other service, All India service officers are all Government of India cadre. They come for a couple of years here. Goa is a very nice place to stay for a couple of years or after retirement. And before an inquiry starts, you can go back. I think you got to wake up. It's high time we, the people, should awaken and fight for these certain basic rights. We can't give up these rights. We have to make us so-called political representatives understand who they are. They are not our bosses. They are our representatives only. They can't overreach us. So are the bureaucrats. So is the judiciary. I agree that there is corruption in the judiciary. Every one of the constitutional organs today are suffering from this disease of greed over need. The media, it on its own hard work, though constitutionally not named, got the recognition of being the fourth estate equivalent to the other three organs of the Constitution. But they have not kept their reputation for good for long. We have paid news. At every election time, there is paid news coming out. But one thing about media I appreciate. Not because you're going to report me tomorrow, but I'll appreciate you for this. It is you who have brought out corruption in your institutions. It's not outsiders bringing it, unlike in the other three organs. In the other three organs, somebody else had to bring it out and show it to the world or the India that there is corruption there. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I have taken enough time, and this role of Lokayukta in good governance, I can assure you, a good institution, empowered, headed by some people who are committed to the cause of fighting for good governance, is the only way out, apart from the society changing its mind and fighting out. I would prefer the society to do that, but it will take a long time. Till then, I'm sure institutions like Lokayukta, Lokpal can bring about some change. We have tried to bring it in Karnataka. Times of India 10 days back reported Lokayukta, the most feared institution in Karnataka. I think such compliments is good enough for us to go a long, long way. Thank you very much for listening to me.
I think for the issues that have been raised and placed before the people of Goa by Justice Hegde deserves a much bigger round of applause. Thank you, sir. Thank you for bringing up the issues which sometimes are very common but are very fundamental. We would now open the floor for the question and answers to Justice Hegde. Maybe we could carry this for a couple of minutes before we close the session, yeah? About half an hour. Yeah? So I invite the audience to participate in the interactive session of today's lecture.
I am Ajit Shirodkar. I have a question or a suggestion to our Justice Hegde. See, this battle that you have entered, it's going to be a long one. And in this long battle, I think, since you have praised the media also, you would require a good PR systems to work with you. The reason I am saying is, I have seen the movements right from Mahatma Gandhi's days to today, right, starting from the Quit India movement to this day. And let me tell you frankly that all these agitations that I have seen throughout, Anna Hazare's agitation was the only one where it was all India and not a single stone was pelted. You can see that all around you, even for a small skirmishes, for no reason, the properties are either looted or destroyed. This was the only agitation, because I was in Bangalore during that time, I was in Shirshi, I was in Ankola, and I was in Goa. Disciplined cadre people, and no single stone was ever thrown throughout the country.
It was a spontaneous agitation, totally non-violent, and that is what really shook the government of India. If you see the sequence of events that took place, somewhere around January, no, it started in February, somewhere around March, Annaji wrote letters to Prime Minister and the chairperson of UPA. No reply was received. Only thing that was asked was, my group has prepared a draft Lokpal bill. Please discuss this with them. He didn't want it at that point of time to come in. No reply was given. Then Annaji said that I will go on hunger strike if this is so. Then he and his couple of colleagues were invited by the Prime Minister for a discussion. Nothing transpired in the discussion. So when he came out, he decided that I will go on hunger strike on the 5th of April.